Spawning over here in the bottom left-hand position, ladies and gentlemen, we have as the teal Terran player representing ATN going down in that last game, unfortunately, to that mech push from ForGG, just unable to keep control of the map after that Reaper opening. Let's find out what he can do in game number 2. We have ClouD. His opponent going to be spawning in the top right-hand corner as the red Terran. Was one of the most celebrated Korean pro gamers when he burst onto the scene in Code A. Dropped off just a little bit since then, but we have all seen what he is capable of. He can monster his way through any bracket. Will he be able to do it here and complete the 2-0 in the round of 16? Representing Millennium, we have ForGG. So two very, very cool players going at it. ClouD unable to hold the follow-up from ForGG in game number 1. What will he be able to do here in game 2? Are we going to see another Reaper expand coming out from ClouD? I think he might elect just to play a little more conservatively in this game and look to establish his map control in other ways, because clearly that didn't work out too well in the first game. Barracks going down now for ForGG as well as for ClouD. ClouD electing to build his buildings at the ramp here, and ForGG electing to build them close to his command center. Going to be going for the gas afterwards as well. So ClouD is unlikely to be going for a 1-rack gasless expand here. Of course, taking this gas does delay that mineral mining just a bit. Now, we have seen Thorzane, for example, occasionally get this refinery and only put 2 SCVs in it to get gas slowly and still get the expand slightly later. So that is technically still possible, but I don't think I've seen ClouD do that before, and indeed 3 harvesters immediately going into this refinery. In the meantime, though, for ForGG, he has not taken any gas himself, so it looks like he will be going for the 1-rack expand. In the meantime, Marines coming out from both players, wanting to deny some scouting coming out from both, but ClouD will be able to get the SCV into the base before the Marine pops. He will see that there is no gas and immediately turn around and look at the natural expansion, because ForGG is about to put down that command center. In fact, ClouD might harass. No, he's elected not to, because he knows the Marine is going to be popping out shortly, and the command center does indeed go down for ForGG without any issue whatsoever. In the meantime, still not too much else coming down for ClouD. He has got more than 100 gas, so is he going to be putting down the factory? He is on the right-hand side of his main base. So he's just going to be teching up off of one base at the moment, knows that ForGG is going to be expanding, so he will likely be coming out with a little bit of early game aggression unless he immediately decides to expand himself, and we have a reactor going down on the barracks here. Now note that this factory was built quite far away from the barracks. If the factory was built in this location, I would potentially have said that, hang on a second, this looks like it's going to be Hellions. But because it's so far to float, it makes it a little bit less likely. He could still do it, but he could have built the factory a lot closer. And now we have the command center going down as well for ClouD, so he's looking like he has no problem playing catch-up here. And indeed, we do not actually see any sort of lift up. It looks like he might be going into Banshees, because the starport is built right next to the factory, so I would not be surprised to see a tech lab go down here and double Marine production coming out of this barracks. In the meantime, we have ForGG once again spreading his buildings all around his base just to make sure that a scan doesn't see everything. Reactor going down on this barracks as well, and we have the factory popping out for him too, taking a gas at his natural expansions, going up to a total of 3 at the moment. And we have a tech lab going down on the factory, so this could very well be quick Banshee play coming out from ClouD. A lot of Marines going to be popping out from that reactor barracks, going to be hating on neutral supply depots at the moment. And there we go, the buildings have indeed swapped, and we're getting a second barracks now, as well as the second gas coming out from ClouD. Current supply is 32 to 29 in favor of ClouD. And we have a little bit of a switcheroo coming up here as well, as ForGG looks like he's going to be going into a double Hellion production, getting a tech lab on that barracks now and starting the starport. So potentially both players going into early starport play, but ClouD going to be getting his Banshee just that little bit first. I wonder if ForGG, ooh, interesting there, got a building cancelled, going to be putting another 2 racks down. I wonder what he's seen, and a scan from ForGG sees most of the tech in the main base. And there we go. We actually have the tech lab going down on the starport. Are we going to see a Raven or a Viking or anything of the sort? Yes, a Viking coming down for ForGG, so wanting to go with the anti-Banshee style, and that's actually going to prove relatively effective in this particular game because ClouD has his Banshee en route. And ClouD actually following this up with a Raven of his own as well. So it looks like we're going to be seeing some very interesting battles in the skies going into the latter half of this game. Hellion's going to be moving out now just to check out what's going on at the watchtower, and he should be able to bump straight into 4 Hellions coming up from ForGG. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what a car accident looks like, and sadly ClouD is going to have to run away before these chasing Hellions actually get any pot shots off of him. But in the meantime, we have the Banshee coming into the natural expansion. He's attacking a refinery, and there we go, picking off a couple of SCVs at the moment. And the Viking should be here shortly. There is the Viking. There is no cloak on this Banshee, so it is going to die, killing off a Marine as its death throw there. And this bunker going to be able to ward away any Hellion harass from ForGG at this moment in time. In fact, I actually think he managed to kill a couple of them there. So let's take a look at the workers killed. 4 for ClouD and 0 for ForGG at the moment. Able to retreat back to the bunker. Great placement there, trying to dissuade any sort of Hellion harass, and also repairing his own Hellions as he gets the double gas. The third base has gone down now for ClouD. He's feeling relatively confident about this, and ForGG actually turning the tables a little bit here. He's actually going to be getting cloak, but we saw the ClouD earlier on got a Raven, so I wonder if that's going to effectively nullify that. Look at this, a Raven and a Viking right next to each other in the main base, so going for cloak here might not benefit him too much, as it just about finishes for ForGG. We have a Viking here patrolling the top half of the base. No Banshee coming out just yet to harass. We'll be keeping an eye out on that, and the 2 Hellions here just going to be making sure there aren't any workers or army hanging around ClouD's third base at this time. In the meantime, it just looks like we're going to have a little bit of downtime here, guys. Both players just totally happy to macro up as it currently stands. We have got another factory coming down for ForGG, so he is favoring once again, grabbing a couple more units out of this mech composition, going up to these 3 factories that we actually saw in the previous game. He does have a Banshee on the way, by the way, to ClouD's base, but he's going to run straight into that Viking and Raven combination that we saw earlier, so that's not going to be terribly fruitful for him at all. Siege mode now on the way for ClouD too. He's going to be transitioning into mech himself. We can see the 2 factories with the tech lab en route in the base, and oh dear me, 3 Vikings and a Raven. This is not going to be good news for the Banshee coming in right now, cloaking, but it's not going to matter because the Raven's already there, and dear, oh dear, a single worker killed for the investment of that Banshee and cloak from ForGG. He's going to be rather frustrated with that. Excellent placement as well from ClouD. It has to be said, he was anticipating that the Banshee might come in from that direction. If ForGG had just moved up across the top of the map and maybe come down to the natural, that would have taken a little bit longer. So perhaps slightly unfortunate there for our Korean Terran, but nothing can be said. That Banshee did go down without too much of a fight. More supply depots getting put here in a grid pattern. Nothing too much to note over here in the main base. Still continuing to pump out units, and we do have a scouting barrack going to be going down via the southern part of the map. Both players have 1 of the watchtowers each, and this is basically a standoff while we continue to macro up, except ClouD is on 3 bases at the moment. His worker supply is 60 to 50, and he's actually doing not too badly in this game number 2. We now have a Raven out as well for ForGG, so we could be seeing a lot of Viking point defense drone battles going on in just a moment. Meanwhile, we have a couple of tanks coming out from ClouD as well. The tank count's actually 4 to 4 at the moment, and the armies are relatively even. Both sides having some Hellions. We have some Vikings out in the air, a Banshee for ForGG, and we have Ravens out from both sides with a couple of Marines mixed in. So not too much different from both of these sides so far in this game, except that ClouD has a little bit of an economic edge, and my goodness, do we have a lot of factories going down here. More factories with tech labs going down, and a money scan sees everything as far as ForGG is concerned, knows that ClouD is going for that really, really heavy mech composition, and he's going to be moving out across the top half of the map at this time. We have a single Hellion here as a spotter. Should be able to see that some units are coming as soon as ForGG decides to move down this ramp, and this Marine should see them at the watchtower. He does indeed. Gets completely roasted for his efforts. Tanks get sieged out from ClouD, and ForGG gets met with a wall of resistance here. Actually, a decent amount of damage being done to those Hellions. He's going to try and 1A in by the looks of things. I'm not sure this is the correct decision for ForGG. ClouD's position is a little bit too entrenched, and siege mode on the tanks, completely destroying a lot of the other ones. That was not the greatest engagement for our Korean Terran. All the Vikings getting picked off as well, so we even have air dominance from ClouD. That is a huge, huge win for ATN ClouD here on Daybreak, and he goes into a 25 supply lead. We now have a command center coming up from ForGG, but it's quite a while after the orbital command here was dropped at the third base. It looks like he might be going potentially for a counterattack later on, but ClouD already moving out via the south of the map, looking to try and get a decent amount of damage done against ForGG here, scouting to see if there is a base at the fourth location. We'll see that there's nothing there. He should go straight for the third, but there is nothing except that scouting barracks. So is he going to go for the third or go straight up to the second? ForGG now going to try and defend with as many tanks as he possibly can. The tank count is currently 7 to 8, still very, very close, but ClouD getting some excellent engagements off of there early, and he is now holding the offensive watchtower. So it looks like things are stabilizing just a little bit here. ClouD, a consistent 20 to 30 supply ahead. ForGG not sending any units to harass at this third, which has just been freely mining for the longest possible time. And ClouD actually taking his fourth base behind this as well. Currently up 149 supply to 121. The worker counts are at 69 to 60. In the meantime, ForGG going to be moving back into his natural expansion, not feeling safe taking a third base right now. The Vikings are going to destroy this scouting barracks, in fact deciding to land it, but only after, sadly, it came on fire. So a single auto turret actually going to be finishing that off. And ForGG coming in now from the side. He has more Vikings than ClouD does, and we have no energy for a point defense drone. All of the air from ClouD is going to get destroyed here. So ForGG taking one back here. The Raven goes down as well. And all of a sudden, air dominance swings the other way into ForGG's favor. The one Banshee trying to harass the tanks as much as he possibly can. And ClouD trying to make... he's making a lot of Thors at the moment rather than build units out of his starport. So he's going into Thor production. But the air dominance is definitely held by ForGG. And oh dear, a couple of scouting Hellions get very roasted apart. As ClouD, unfortunately, misses that particular engagement. One siege tank here just going to be chilling out and immediately gets destroyed. A little bit of a miss rally from ClouD as well, and it looks like he is letting the game slip just a little bit in the mid game. Now don't forget, he has 4 bases up and mining. ForGG technically only has 2 and is now getting his third at the forward location. So ClouD's economy is booming at the moment. So let's see what he can do. ForGG actually just dropped a Mulehammer, so it looks like he's mining a fair amount as well. And ClouD going to be moving out. What is the tank count? We have 12 to 15 in favor of ClouD, and he has got a Thor out as well, which will be very, very useful against this air army. Going to be sieging up at the watchtower. What will ForGG be able to do? It looks like ClouD has position on him at this point in time, giving a quick scan for the Banshee, and the Thor coming in as well to try and pick it apart. About a quarter of the health getting taken out immediately. Oh, and a nice shot off on that huge clump of Vikings there. As Hellions now going to be moving in towards the third base of ClouD. This is not good. Those SCVs look like they're lining up, but it doesn't matter because the Hellions have not given chase. We have Hellions of ClouD's own going to be moving in towards the third base to prevent any sort of long-term damage from being done there. And yes, he does have more Blue Flame Hellions than his opponent. Will be able to clean that up nicely. ClouD still holding on to about a 15 supply lead here, and he is mining off of 4 bases, but now ForGG taking a 4th base of his own. The siege line is now on ClouD's half of the map, and the Thor went out with the Hellions, so this Banshee is having free reign at the moment, and that is not good news for him at all. The Thor frantically trying to get back. He already has 1 kill. And it looks like the siege just going to be focusing down those destructible rocks while the Thor comes in and tries to clean up. ForGG able to prevent that Banshee from going down. And ClouD must be thinking when it's going to be possible to move out from this position, because he was in a great position earlier on in the game and ForGG was able to fight back. It looks like he's moving in from 2 side ones. Here we go. He has decided that now is time, using those Hellions as a buffer up on top. All of them do go down, but the Thor there taking a decent amount of damage, and ClouD able to power through the soft contain here of ForGG. He's going to be going via the center of the map as well, completely bypassing this final sieged up tank, and only the Vikings are able to watch this huge ground army from ClouD move forward. Worker supply 71 to 77. ForGG really macroing up at the moment, and he does have a huge, he does have a siege tank line here, but this is not a planetary fortress, and it's only 3 tanks, and it looks like ClouD going to be moving in. Will he be able to take game number 2? He's sieging up a lot of his tanks, and oh my goodness, it is carnage over here on his half of the map. SCVs being pulled as well, and is it going to be enough? Actually getting into those siege tanks, but 3 Thors in the back doing oh so much damage. This battle is so close. There are no siege tanks left for either side, but ClouD will be able to survive with the Thors. One of them actually only on a sliver of health at the moment. That one gets taken out, but the other 2 should be able to come in here. We have a siege tank just about coming out in time for ForGG, and ClouD deciding to think better of it, waiting for reinforcements before he moves in further, but he has a great position here against this forward expansion, while his 3rd and 4th bases are mining up again. We have got the 4th base as a planetary fortress, and it looks like another planetary coming down at this forward location as a 5th. Oh my goodness, here we go. Siege tanks at the watchtower are going to be incredibly useful, and oops, getting a little bit of a pot shot off on one of those tanks. But ForGG has now entrenched his position at this forward location. He cannot allow this base to get taken down because ClouD did actually have that earlier position, and it looks like the Viking battle is going to be won just about here because we have a Viking on the ground for ForGG. So ClouD has a Viking up in the air, and he's going to be moving forward with a lot more tanks this time. SCV is being pulled from ForGG as well. He's gone down to underneath 100 supply. The last tank is destroyed at this forward base location. It looks like ForGG is going to be losing this base. Will he be able to regroup and take the game, though, as ClouD moves into over 60 supply worth of lead? Huge push there coming out from ClouD, and the siege tank count is just looking really formidable indeed. It is currently 10-3, and those Thors have been invaluable in soaking up damage when he moves in to ForGG's position. He sees that a tank is sieged up there, but he does not mind. He is actually just going to go for it, and here we go. Those Hellions doing so much damage to the SCVs that have been pulled now from ForGG, trying his best to get to the siege tank in the background, but unable to do so. This is actually doing quite a decent amount of damage, but the SCV cover has now been blown. GG comes out, and ClouD, ladies and gentlemen, takes game number 2 to force this game into a third match on Cloud Kingdom.